Hi everybody, my name is Jason, and this is the third video in a series of how I built my tiny house. In the first video I started off with a very rough utility trailer, which I'm using as the trailer or the foundation of the tiny house. And it was very rough, had old wood. I stripped it off and stripped the paint, then primed it and repainted it. In the last video, I built what I'm calling the subfloor, which is the stage that the trailer's in now. Basically, I put a base floor, the side walls, and the platform or the ledge, which will extend up into the walls of the house. I'm gonna say as well, I don't know what defines a tiny house. Is this a tiny house, or is this a camper shaped like a house? Hard to know, hard to say. I'm no expert. I haven't done this before, and aside from having experience in woodworking and building canoes, I could almost say I really don't know what I'm doing. It's a learning process for me, but if you have an opinion on what makes a tiny house compared to a camper, please leave a comment and let me know. So in this video, I'm gonna start framing off the walls. Anyhow, there's a lot that I wanna get done, so I'm gonna get to it. Okay, so I've laid out a few 2x4s on the ledge of the tiny house, basically just to double check the measurements that I've already drawn out roughly on the ledge itself. I want to talk for a moment just about the 2x4s that I'm using. I'm actually only going to use full size 2x4s on the two ends, so on the end where the door will be, and then the front, I guess, of the house. For the two side walls, I've cut the 2x4s down to 2x3s. I could have bought 2x3s, but I decided just to make sure that I had nice clean edges on the two walls, then I would just use 2x4s and rip them down. I have a wood fireplace in the house, so the offcuts I'll just use as kindling through the winter. So then the next thing is that I have penciled in some of the locations for the studs. So my plan is to cut the top and bottom plate of the wall, then lay out the studs. I'm going to use the same stud placement as if it was a house, a regular house, so every 16 inches. That's to code in Canada. Then what I'll do is when I get to the window area, I'm going to just not put in that stud, and I'll measure out and just double check everything. Once I know that the window is where I want it to be, I'll frame out the window placement. The only other thing that I should say is that I'm going with 2x3s just to bring down the weight of the trailer itself. I'm going to use full-size 2x4s at either end to have as much strength as I can at the ends. A lot of builders of like teardrop trailers actually use 2x2s, so I'm sure that 2x3s will be strong enough for the side walls. I am going to have a steel roof, and it is going to be larger than a teardrop. There will be more wind resistance when I'm driving, and so that's why I'm opting to use 2x3s. So yeah, 2x3 and 2x4, I feel like that will be strong enough and keep the weight down. Okay, so I've got 3 walls in place. I've got the 2 sides and the front, and I need to put the floor in because I'm going to use a sheet of veneered, maple veneer plywood instead of putting in like tongue and groove flooring or anything like that. I'm hoping that the maple veneer will be strong enough. I'm considering putting a coat of epoxy on it and then finishing it with varnish. You know, I probably will do that just to give it extra protection. You know, that said, I have to put the floor in before I put that back wall in because there's no way I'm going to be able to squeeze a 4x8 sheet of plywood in through a door and then lay it in place with the ledge there. So also I kind of cheated. I didn't film everything, so I've screwed down the walls as well. So I added some construction adhesive between the bottom plate of the walls, and then I've screwed them in place as well from underneath. After that, I also bolted the entire floor system down into the trailer using 3/8 bolts. So right now it shouldn't go anywhere. I believe it's strong enough. It'll be a lot stronger when I get the back wall done, but like I said, got to get this floor in. Don't know if you can tell, the weather is not looking good. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to try to get the floor in. I've got a big tarp to cover it. Definitely don't want maple veneer getting rained on before it's finished. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Here we are inside the shop now, and much better conditions for building. As you can see, I've got the back wall where the door will be partially built. I just need to, you know, finish framing it up a little and then lift it into place, and I'm going to use some construction adhesive as well as some screws to just secure it, and then from there I'll start working on the roof. Okay, so the walls are up, and you probably will have noticed that I didn't frame in the opening for the door yet. Simply because I don't know really how large of a door I want to put in yet. I'm going to be figuring that out over the next couple weeks. And also, there's some things like the bed platform that I may have to lift in large material like a sheet of plywood, and I just want to make sure that it'll fit through the space that I have. So that's it for this video. In the next video, I'll be framing out the arched roof. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do, and don't forget to give the video the thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Okay? Thanks for watching.